Hey, what's up, everyone? Dragon back again with
Ashley.
Still in our kind of ghetto, unfinished new home set that we're still trying to put together. But again, trailers start dropping and we need to start reacting. This one, however, I'm very much looking forward to. It is the first trailer for Rampage, starring Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. This is based off the old, like, Midway video game with the same name. I know they've made more games since then for different consoles,
Yeah.
but my introduction to Rampage was like the late 80s when I would go to the arcade and play the old big cabinet, arcades, because, well, I'm old and, I come from a different time.
Can't you tell by the gray in the beard?
I know. So we would, like, ride to the arcade on our mammoths and,
Oh my God.
It's like Flintstones technology, everything. But no, so I was very kind of surprised when I heard they were doing a Rampage movie and The Rock was going to be announced. I was like, my big thing. We even did a Kaiju Cataclysm episode talking about it, and we were kind of like, well, what's the tone? Because the game really doesn't have much of a story. It's just in the game, it's humans who get mutated somehow, and they turn into big monsters, and you just climb buildings and fuck shit up, and that's
and eat people.
Yeah, you can eat people, and that's pretty much. There really isn't a story. It's just kind of big, cool sci-fi.
How much can you destroy?
Yeah, that's basically it. So when I was thinking of the movie, I'm like, wow, what's the movie going to be? So, but I get a sense that they kind of use that limited narrative to kind of like create one. So without further ado, let's check it out.
It's weird. You like hang out with animals more than people.
Yeah, well, animals get me.
I feel you, bro.
I rescued George when he was 2 years old.
George
George never would have survived on his own.
He definitely trusts you.
That's right. I heard he was an albino girl in this.
Last night, George was 7 feet and weighed 500 pounds. George, you okay, buddy? You're scared. It's okay. This morning, he's 9 feet, pushing 1,000. What's happening to my friend?
Are you familiar with genetic editing? Changes will be incredibly unpredictable.
Is he the only one?
Is that Ralph?
Know about the 30-foot wolf?
It is!
Oh my God.
Suck it, Fenrir. Jesus.
Holy shit. That made his face terrifying.
Hell of a day, huh? Science experiments falling from the sky.
Having George on that plane is a big mistake.
I think we'll be all right.
So alright.
Bye.
Let's go save the world. It's coming back to me. It's coming back. You have to evacuate Chicago. George didn't ask for this. They're gonna put him down. That's not happening.
Ah, you like take out the base of the buildings. I remember that. Where's Lizzie? Oh.
There's something in the river.
I was just thinking the only thing that's missing right now is a giant crocodile.
There's my girl.
Oh my God. Wow.
I used to always play as Lizzie. She was my favorite because she reminded me of Godzilla. That was a little weird in shot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so fuck yeah.
So.
I kind of, and it's okay. So right off the bat, obviously, there's a plot. So really, if people say this might be the first successful video game movie, I'm like, well, yeah, because it's really like all you need is the name Rampage and
Those
three big
three
monsters, and that's it. Like that's it. Like that's.
At some point, have them rampage, and you're set.
Yeah. This trailer alone is already the most best video game adaptation already. But right off the bat, okay, so in Rampage, the game, they were humans who would turn into these big monsters. Not,
oh yeah, because when you died, you turned
you
back
would like
into a
shrink
human.
back and naked. You would kind of like scooch out to the side, or another one of them could just eat you. And I also thought it was kind of weird because I'm like, if you're mutated, like, why are you turning into a giant version of another animal? Yeah. So I don't care that they don't start off as humans or not because, it's whatever. The other thing I noticed, too, is like in Rampage, they were all not just big animals, but they were
bipedal.
They were anthropomorphic. They were kind of like George looked like Kong from Skull Island, where he was gorilla-like, but he stood upright. Ralph, the wolf, looked like a giant werewolf, basically, and Lizzie was potentially Godzilla. But it looks like here they retain kind of their form, their stance. Yeah. They just get giant. I mean, I think they kind of get more enhanced, like a little
like that wolf's face looked way
scary. And even George, when you kind of see him in the big plane, kind of waking up, he looked a little bit. So I figured they kind of get more badassified a little bit.
Looked a little spiky.
Yeah, I think they just kind of look more like enhanced, but overall they're just basically
they just need to look badass and be angry.
Well, yeah, but they're basically just giant versions of the normal animal. And I remember reading the synopsis saying that not only they're growing big, their aggression is increasing. They're becoming very aggressive. Which is why you see, George in the beginning, and he's just, this docile gorilla, and then he starts getting kind of aggressive, and they're noticing his behavior is changing along with this side.
I'm feeling angry.
Yeah, really. But again, you see a few shots of like, I hope they call the wolf Ralph at some point in this, but regardless, I'm going to call him Ralph because that was his name. But you see like George and Ralph kind of fighting each other, which, by the way, there's been a lot of big gorilla stuff over the years. So George stands out a little because he's albino, and I think that's why they made him albino, because
they didn't want to be like, what's King Kong doing?
Well, yeah, and he basically he's essentially a little bit big. He's basically between the size of the Peter Jackson Kong, I think, and Skull Island Kong, but he still stands like a big gorilla. So essentially, he would just kind of be like Peter Jackson's Kong. Yeah. So I think they kind of made him albino. They kind of make him stand. And plus, you've had Skull Island. You've had all the various King Kong movies. You've had the 2 Mighty Joe Young movies. So, they realized that with another big gorilla, it's like, all right, make him stand out. But now we have kind of like the King Kong effect with other animals, where you have like a giant wolf, a giant crocodile, where they're not like anthropomorphized animals that are like that, but they're like just like King Kong with like a scaled up version of the animal. So that's kind of cool. I'm kind of getting this. I'm gonna call it now. You're gonna have George and Ralph duke it out for, as you saw in the trailer, but I think they're gonna team up. Because notice how they hid, and again, I'm still going to call her Lizzie. I don't care. I noticed how there was a reason why they didn't just show Lizzie till the end. She's not like one of because the whole trailer is like, oh, there's George, and then there's Ralph, and there's George, and there's Ralph. Yeah. And suddenly at the very end, here's this huge crocodile. I get the sense that, A, she's going to be bigger than them. Because if they're just scaled up versions of both animals, well, the wolf and a gorilla are going to be roughly around the same size, whereas a saltwater crocodile is almost 3 times the size of both those animals. Yeah. So when that thing is scaled up, she's going to already be bigger than them. So I kind of get the sense she's going to show up at... Battle. Yeah, I get the sense that's going to be the end. They're going to be pitting Ralph and George against each other for most of the movie, and you're going to think that's going to be the big climactic battle. And then I think because you said at some point they're both getting shot up by the military, so I think they're going to kind of be like forced to kind of hunker down together. And then I think Liz is going to show up, and she's going to be this big fucking monster, bigger than them. And I think it's going to be like George and Ralph like team up and fight her, which is kind of badass. I kind of like that. So I don't know. I'm going to curious to see if they find a cure, or are they going to basically now like The Rock is basically going to then become like this. He's going to have these 2 big animals, because I know he's a primatologist in the movie. But, like, maybe that's it. They're going to just have this island where he's going to be, like, just taking care of these 2 big, giant fucking animals.
He's going to ride Ralph.
Yeah. I know in the later Rampage games, like, more, I think, like, Nintendo 64 and on and PS2, they have a lot of monsters. So you have Ralph, George, and Lizzie. But then there's, like, 10 or 12 other newer ones they created. So I'm kind of wondering maybe that's how it's going to be. Like, they're going to have Ralph and George, and then other monsters are going to show up. And they're going to kind of do like maybe like a whole Pacific Rim thing where like Ralph and George are going to be like our Jaegers and like we got to bring them in, and Rock's like no, they're my friends, I don't want to do that to them, and they're like, oh, we got to fight, use them to fight the other and it's just going to be a big monster throwdown, which I'm completely okay with. So let's let this movie be successful so we can get that even bigger, more badass.
Well, it's one of those things. It's like, this is clearly a movie that's meant to be fun. So, like, I hope, you know, you're obviously going to have those people who are like, oh, they're stupid.
Well, it's like
So super serious.
Well,
Oh,
it's
that'll
like-
never happen.
well-
That's not scientifically correct.
no shit. Like
know.
it's kind of
Yeah, it just looks fun.
yeah. In
and
fact, it's a
entertaining.
green gas, and suddenly they're turning into giant monsters.
Yeah.
I'm like, but again, it's kind of the nature of the genre too, kaiju films, and it's kind of funny because I'm looking at their size in this movie, and I'm like, all right. In the first episode of the Kaiju Cataclysm we did, we kind of broke down what is a kaiju, and I kind of pulled all that from existing material that kind of basically, I'm not saying I'm the definitive expert at all, but there's enough where I was like, all right, I kind of said size-wise. Part of it was size, too.
Yeah.
And technically, these guys are smaller than even what we had kind of said. But it's one of those things where this movie, I mean, they're still pretty fucking big.
Yeah.
They're still giant. They're still knocking down buildings. Even though they're small in the building, they're still doing a good job taking them out.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it really doesn't fit anywhere else. They're not quite as big as what I would normally deem a kaiju to be big enough for. But quite frankly, the way the film seems to play out,
Yeah.
it kind of
Might
gets
as well be.
it gets a pass because it's like what else are you gonna put this as terms of a genre? So it's a kaiju movie. I'm totally okay with that, calling it a kaiju movie. But yeah, I don't know, Rampage. I like how they kind of gave it more of a bit of a, because I think they could have gotten really tongue in cheek with this if they want to. But I don't know. I like that it's not an ironic movie.
Yeah.
I like that they all right, let's just take this basic story of just big monsters punching buildings, and then let's create, somewhat of an interesting story around that. As long as you deliver the scenes of them like taking out buildings, it's like, well, there you go. That's really all you need. It's the only box.
There's a very small checklist.
Yeah, it's like one. It's like have the big wolf, the big gorilla, and the big reptile knock some buildings over. We have that, great. The rest is up to you guys. So I don't mind. I know some people think, is it kind of weird they're making a big song? Like, why not? Like, Jesus Christ, people. It's like superhero movies. There's so many superhero movies. Well, kaiju movies. It looks like this movie. That one. Well, yeah, it's just like this superhero movie looks like that. It's a genre. There's certain characteristics they have and quota they have to meet, and I'm perfectly happy with that because that's my thing. But anyway, what did you guys think? Were you like us when you heard like they're making a Rampage movie? You're like, what? Okay.
I haven't heard of that in like 20 years.
I know. Let's see how that turns out. Or were you excited like us? And now that you've seen kind of our first look at it, which was actually for a teaser trailer, it was actually really
Yeah,
nice.
it was like 2.5 minutes long.
Yeah, and
so
it gave you a lot of good shit. There were a lot of really nice effect shots
I don't think
completed.
this was a teaser. Wasn't this just the trailer one?
I get. Well, I don't know what they call
I know.
it. Every time I look, it's like, oh, this is the first. Oh no, it's a teaser, or it's a first look, or it's an exclusive. And it's like, it's all trailers to me.
Yeah.
So unless it's just like the logo that pops up with like a release date, to me that's a teaser.
Yeah.
If I see video footage from the movie
Any kind of finish.
of any
footage,
kind,
yeah.
I call it a trailer. So we'll look at it again when we go to label this video. But yeah, trailer or teaser. The point is, for the first thing,
Yeah, it was a lot.
it showed us it was good, which makes you kind of like really interested in what the next one's gonna look like. Hopefully,
on
see.
April 20th. It's not that far
No,
away.
we're not. So it probably won't be too long. I bet you the next one we'll see more of Lizzie.
Probably.
I'm really curious to get a better look at her. She looks big. But anyway, yeah. So give us some of your thoughts. Let us know if you guys are kaiju fans. There's kind of a kaiju renaissance, the second kaiju renaissance we're living in now. So are you excited for this one? Do you feel it's kind of maybe this is kind of the exhibition match before we get like King of Monsters in 2019, So anyway, yeah, give us some of your thoughts. And for those of you guys who don't know anything about kaiju movies, never played a Rampage game, and really didn't know this was based on a game, just from this trailer alone, what are your thoughts? Let us know. We're always interested. If you've not done so already, please subscribe to our channel. I will leave a link in the description section below, and promise you that we'll have more material coming up very soon. It's just we've been very busy with the move and life, but now that we're kind of
Slowly getting settled.
Yeah, getting settled. We'll be able to sit down and just start cranking out material
Content.
for that. Content, yes, that stuff. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. We really do appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace!
Peace.